Hey guys, hope you're excited to talk about Supernatural because I know that we are. We're here to talk about season 12, episode 11 regarding Dean. Find out what happens next.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Just a little broomstick cowboy. This is like the cutest song.
It really is. Like, I was smiling ear to ear during this entire little montage at the end. This is such a fun little song for Dean.
Wait, did we say this is from the 70s? 60s?
60s.
60s? 60s, thank you. It's so like adorable. Like,
yeah.
I'm loving it.
Oh my gosh, he was a little boy.
Little broomstick cowboy, little broomstick Rowena. We're talking about Supernatural if we're talking about witches, of course. Season 12, episode 11, regarding Dean. Guys, welcome back. Hello. My name is Lyndsey Wegner. You guys can tweet me at Lyndsey Wegner. That's Lyndsey. And tonight, Wegner. And tonight I'm joined by no other than the most amazing gal, Miss Katie Campbell.
Hi, guys. You can find me on Twitter at KatieEE Campbell. That's Katie with 3 E's Campbell.
Oh, Katie. What'd you think of this week's episode?
You know, it started out and I was like, okay, is this a filler episode? I don't know. But I actually really enjoyed it. It was fun. It was like the case of the week, except it was not in order. It was like, let's go back and retrace our steps. And it had to do with like one of the main boys, like something's going wrong. So I actually really enjoyed it. By the end, I was like, wow, that was a fun episode.
You're right. It wasn't really like a monster of the week because we did have to kind of go back and figure out what happened. And it brought Rowena back, which is always great to have a character come back in that we haven't seen for a few episodes. So this was a smart way to get her back in on the scene and have her reveal a little bit of information and both of them kind of be a little bit vulnerable.
Although I do have to say, with the whole witch storyline thing, they give us some stuff about witches and they say like, there's some history there, but then we never dive into it fully. And like the whole thing about the Grand Coven, we went into it a little bit, but I feel like we could go deeper, and maybe that's what they could do seasons ahead in the future. But tonight we like dove in a little bit on Rowena's history with this specific group, and I just felt like, wow, there's more story in there.
Did you think we were going to get a little bit about the Grand Coven in this episode?
No, I felt like it was a separate thing, but I felt like we could go into way more of a story. And I like the witch thing. I know I like Rowena, but I also like the whole like witch thing in general and diving into the history of that. It's fun.
Oh yeah, I like the witch. I like the witch plot line, storyline, and I was hoping we'd maybe get a little bit to just a little bit of the coven to touch on it, so that we can come back to it later on, because I want to find out more about that and find out what the secret is. And they said she was this dirty little rag doll on their doorstep, so I want to find out more about Rowena when she was younger.
You think maybe they were connected with that?
They took her in.
With the Grand Coven, though?
Absolutely.
Okay.
If they saw her then, they all know about it.
Yeah. Maybe one whole season of Supernatural in the future will be about the witches.
It could be. It could spin off. I mean, although we had Charmed and, you know, there's plenty of other shows with witches in them, so it doesn't technically need to be a spin-off. But maybe a whole season on the Coven. I don't know if they would do that, but maybe
like that's the bigger thing looming over the boys.
A story arc of the Coven in with it would be great, and go back into time, because they said that they hated the British Men of Letters too. So they're setting up all these little plot points.
Then leaving us hanging.
But they're at least setting them up to be there,
right,
and kind of dangle us with that little carrot to come back to it hopefully later on and find out what the actual deal with them is.
Makes the story so deep, and I feel like Supernatural does that well. We want to know more.
They create the world, you get wrapped up into it, and then we just want to find out more of what's going on.
They've done it for 12 years now. We're going to have the 13th season.
13 years coming up. All right, so yeah, we see this man running and bleeding. He's obviously been shot. We find out that he's shot by Dean, and like a spell, like, is it called the sigil? Is that what they're called? Or that was a glyph.
Yeah, that was a glyph.
Dean flying backwards, and we find out that he's in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, and phone is broken. So everyone's kind of being a little bit leery of him.
But he wakes up and there's a bunny, except it's alive. In witchcraft, bunnies die a lot of times. They're sacrificed, you know? We saw that in the little preview, like previously on Supernatural type of thing. Here, dead bunnies. Why does it always have to be a bunny that dies? And this one lives. No like bunnies were harmed.
Snuggling up next to him.
Cute little thing.
So adorable. But the joggers and people passing by are a little confused by this man. And finally he does get someone's phone and is able to call Sam and tells him to meet him at Waldo's Waffles. And Sam's got to figure out where that is.
Those waffles looked amazing.
Looks so good. I just want a Belgian waffle right now, and the Norm's by me closed.
I was a little offended that that one plate of waffles wasn't touched.
Strawberry waffles with whipped cream on them.
Wasn't touched. I mean, he did eat another plate, but how can you pass that up?
Take it to go.
Maybe that's like the first sign. Well, one of the many signs, I guess, that something's wrong here. Something's wrong with Dean.
Is maybe just the fact that he's not completely all there because he's passing up waffles. I mean, if he passed up pie, then we would really know something was wrong.
Right.
Passing up waffles. So they're talking about this Perry, is his name Gilman case. And this girl comes up and ends up slapping Dean across the face. He doesn't know who she is, so she slaps him. We later get a little bit of backstory. But we go back to this Perry Gilman guy who has an autopsy that says he's died based on suffocation. And they actually pulled bags of money from his stomach. And we also find a hex bag. So there was a spell. Dean is
blood money.
What money?
Blood money.
Blood money. Literally blood money.
Right.
Dean is confused by all of this. So we know something's amiss just for the fact that he's not understanding and grasping what's going on. This is normal, basic work for them to go get an autopsy, go figure out a case. And he's just kind of confused, slightly excited, slightly weirded out, slightly grossed out by all of these things happening. One of my favorite lines was him talking about Dory from Finding Nemo.
I know. There was a lot of that.
There was so many good ones
thrown in.
And Sam being like, can you name every person from Bon Jovi? And he's like, what, 80s Bon Jovi? Sure, Bon Jovi.
That's all he's got.
And that's all he's got.
And I don't even know.
at least come up with Richie Sambora.
Well, he can't. His memory is gone.
They're like the two. It's like Sam and Dean. You don't have Bon Jovi without Richie Sambora.
Yeah, but he couldn't even remember his name at one point. He didn't know what a lamp was.
I know. It got bad. It got real bad. And I wrote, who's Dean? Yeah, who's Dean? Who is he? Who is this guy?
Yeah.
And we see Rowena playing a game of poker. She's using magic to win. She had a bad straight. But she had a straight, but he had a flush.
I think I would be doing the same thing if I was her.
Please, against all these men.
She's having a good time. She's having a great time. Off on her little adventures, making money.
Trying to find men to take her out on dates and
right.
And live the life where what did she say again?
Live the lavish life.
Live the lavish life that she had when she was going to go to Florida with the guy that was going to take care of her. Oh, Rowena. So she ends up getting the phone call from Sam, and she says in order for this spell to break from Dean, who's losing his memory, they need to actually kill the witch. That will essentially break the spell. At least that's what we're told now at this point. They go back into this Perry guy's office, trying to kind of jog Dean's memory and figure out what happened with the previous night.
That's what I like about this. We start out, it just felt like we were going back to solve the puzzle differently than the regular cases. Yeah.
They have to go back and actually walk Dean through it versus walking the civilian through it.
Dean's been through it before, but he can't remember any of it.
Was there a picture of this guy with John Kerry?
Was it? Really?
I
didn't catch that.
First one you guys tell me in the chat. I don't know if that was me. But then there's a guy that they're questioning, but they don't know who it is. And they end up going and looking for a place where Dean remembers having burgers. So they go to a few places where there's only, how many burger places can there be in this small town? They end up at this pickle shack place. They see the girl who slapped him from the waffle place, And she mentions that Dean rode the bull. And not only did he ride Larry, he rode it well.
Listen, I'm glad we got to see him riding the bull, though. I thought, oh my God,
That
are they going to show us? And they did at the end.
They needed to, because we all had the vision in our heads. Although I will say it wasn't as exciting as I thought it would be.
What did you, his shirt was off or something?
No, I mean, would I have appreciated his shirt being off? Of course I would have. I think all of any Supernatural fan, male or female, would appreciate that.
He just wanted a smile on his face.
But I just expected it to be a little bit more like, I'm not going to sit here and do it, but you know what I'm all thinking, how somebody rides the bull. You've got the motion. You've got the rhythm.
Yeah, it looked like he was doing it slowly. Maybe.
It was too slow-mo. I mean, slow-mo, but let's get it on here.
Here's what I thought was so funny about this waitress is that she was so, like, annoyed and how could you forget me and you deserve that slap. And then all of a sudden when she hears he was roofied, she's like, oh my gosh, you poor thing. It wasn't me who roofied you. But then she somehow believed that he was roofied. This grown man was roofied.
All of a sudden out of nowhere. And
4 tequila shots.
I didn't mean to take advantage of you. Because they hooked up and they were talking about hooking up again later. And he was like, he's like, yeah, nice job here.
4 tequila shots should put you on the floor, though. I mean, he's a grown man, but still.
1 tequila, 2 tequila, 3 tequila floor.
He's a grown man, but still, that would set him back a little bit.
Did anyone say that there were 4 burger places? Jensen shirtless. See, right, Rowena, thank you. I thought he rode the bull fine. Okay, you can think he rode the bull fine. That's good. I wanted something more. I just wanted a little bit more excitement. And they took advantage of him. Okay, so they go back to the security cameras where we find out one of the guys from the office building, the second guy that they actually showed the picture of, was actually the witch. His name was Gideon, and he came out, pushes Dean into, like, kind of does a little spell on him. Dean does take a shot at him, which is why we see him at the beginning of the episode running with a bullet wound in himself. But he's once again completely confused by all of this and doesn't quite understand. Sam's now explaining monsters to Dean, and Dean isn't sure of this, and they talk about how this is what they normally do for civilians, but this is actually happening with Dean. And Dean is kind of excited, kind of weirded out by the whole thing.
I think he thinks it's cool, though. More so, cool. He's like, I'm into this. This is awesome.
And they're talking about glyphs. That's what they're using for this. And they find Gideon Laughlin dead. And Dean's a little nervous about finding this dead person, then he gets excited about it, like you said. The witches end up showing up. She wants...
Him getting excited about seeing the dead body. Is that weird that he, at this point, if he's not remembering his whole life as Dean Winchester, is that weird that he's excited about that?
That he's excited about a dead person?
Yeah.
I mean, he's an interesting character.
Right,
so,
okay.
I mean, him being excited about a dead body. I mean, normally it's just, this is work, this is completely straight, whatever. With him getting all of this stuff explained to him, and that maybe that he's supposed to be this hunter, maybe he's like, wow, this is kind of cool, but this is my job, and I just discovered a dead body.
Right.
Wow. Dean voice.
Right. It's all kind of mixed up in his brain at this point.
My girlfriend Christina is staying with me for a month till she moves into her new place. And she remembers Jensen from soap operas. And she goes, what is wrong with his voice?
This is Dean.
I love it so much. And she's just so confused. But she's like, oh, it's this like deep Dean voice. And I'm like, I think it's super sexy.
Yeah.
But she's just so confused by it because she's so used to him being on, was it Days of Our Lives?
I don't know.
Or General Hospital. I can't remember which soap opera he was on, but clearly he had the just beautiful,
I like
pretty
the
man
Dean
looks.
voice.
I like the Dean voice too. It fits him. It's perfect for his character. It suits him very well. The witches do end up showing up. She wants her family back.
Oh
Rowena,
my gosh, this girl, this blonde
Katrina.
Yeah, I hated her. I know we were supposed to, but like I did not. She was acting like a child. We saw Dean childlike in this episode many times, but she was acting like a child. She was so annoying and bratty.
She was pretty annoying. I see in the chat some people are saying that Dean, they like seeing Dean act like more of a child. I thought Dean should have barfed at the dead body. That's quite hilarious. Our best friend's an angel. That was a great line. Absolutely being Cass. Rowena shows up, and Dean actually doesn't recognize her, and he says her hair is so bouncy, which it is. Mm-hmm. She's just got the greatest hair. She usually wears it up when we see her, but
she's so cute walking around.
She's just so just perfect and teeny and packs this little punch. And she's like, glyphs are Celtic. It's a language of trees. They end up distracting Dean with Scooby-Doo.
Oh, I loved Scooby-Doo when I was a kid.
This episode.
Yeah, it was fun seeing Dean like a child. Thank you for that comment in the chat. It was like little sprinkles of it throughout the whole episode.
Just like a nice little cherry on top for him, just being this.
He
you
was happy.
just want to pat his head or oh, you're pretty.
But how fun was it being a child? You know, it was the best. No problems.
Don't we all wish that we could do that minus the Peter Pan syndrome?
Yeah.
She thought that the family was dead. They moved into the Mississippi Delta, Gideon, Boyd, and Katrina. And she said that they have a spell book. I couldn't tell if it was Black Noir, a
Grimoire. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I didn't have my closed captioning on, so I didn't see what's...
Oh, you're good. Grimoire.
It's the study. People actually studied the sequence, but it was for a price. So in order for them to break the spell on Dean, they needed to find this book in order to break it. Otherwise, Dean could die because he's basically going to revert back to completely not knowing anything, not remember how to swallow. Almost kind of like an Alzheimer's situation where you forget the use of your body and bodily function, so you just die because you don't know.
I thought she was going to end up saying, it's not remember how to breathe.
Yeah. But it was
swallow and speak. Oh my gosh.
Dean is trying to remember, and he his acting in that part where he's like, my name is Dean, my brother is Sam, my mom is Mary, Cass is my best friend, he's an angel. And then going back, my name is, and he can't remember, and you're sitting there going, come on.
Yeah.
Come on, we're all rooting for you right now. You've got this. You have to remember. We knew that he would get this back. Obviously, this is just one episode, but he played it up really well with the one tear.
Right. It was really beautiful and emotional, and it really tugged at my heartstrings because I just kept thinking, wow, this is an actual real thing for so many people going through having loved ones that have Alzheimer's or people that are going through it themselves. Mm-hmm. It's really heartbreaking.
Of course. I think that's why Sam was concerned about this. Obviously, he doesn't.
Which I thought was a huge thing for him to say, too. He's like, I've watched my brother die, but watching him become not him, I think is worse.
It's worse. Which it's true. Mm-hmm. It is. That's what they say about Alzheimer's. It's because you know this person, you've known them for your entire life, and then all of a sudden they just...
Oh, it's sad either way, though.
Of course. You don't want to lose someone, but...
Right.
You think about... today is my mom's birthday. And she passed away just a little over a year ago. Tragic. She got hit by a car, so it wasn't some sort of illness or anything. And my dad and I have always tried to talk about whether or not would it have been better. My grandma died of old age, but probably essentially of Alzheimer's. And we always said, would it have been better to watch her go through an illness and get to be with her and see her go through it, or to have something sudden like that happen? And neither one of them is ideal. I can tell you that right now. And
I've seen it on both ends of family members of mine too.
Katie also understands and has gone through a loss as well. So
it's all hard.
There's nothing that makes it simple. So going with Sam and understanding, seeing that exactly, it's actually worse to see you just lose themselves completely. That's what he's saying. Happy birthday, Mom.
Yeah, she's in here in spirit.
She's here.
She loved to watch this.
She's here. She's here in spirit. Yeah, she watched us. She would sometimes join in our chat and be like, hi, Lyndsey. She got all excited when she could say hi. And she's actually been here at the studio with us and filmed with us, and it was always great to have her here. So thanks, Mom. Love you. And, okay, so Sam decides he's going to go find the witches on his own and is going to leave Rowena back at home with Dean.
Okay, he said, I don't want you to go. He doesn't trust her. Obviously, that's smart on his end. You know, she's kind of for herself in a lot of senses, although I think she was for herself with this grimoire, but I think she did want to help too. But I thought, okay, yeah, that's smart to not have her along because you don't trust her. But at the same time, if you don't trust her, don't leave her here with Dean, who is forgetting who he is.
Lesser of two evils. I mean, she still could have done she could have done something horrible with Dean.
I would have taken her with me.
Like keep her locked up or chained up or something like they've done in the past. It doesn't really work, but
I would have taken her with me because I would have believed, like, okay, listen, you know, you're probably right. These people, they're not going to really want to help me and read the grimoire. I need you to help me because we're obviously running, like, the clock's ticking. Dean's forgetting who he is at this point. He's going to forget how to swallow in, like, 2 seconds, so you need to come with me. You need to read this. That's what I would have chosen.
Obviously, it creates a better scenario with what we find out later on. There's a good little story, like, quick little point that's in there. Plus we get this little heartwarming moment with Rowena and Dean where she kind of reveals this stuff about her because she knows that he's going to forget about it.
Okay.
Which was the whole point of leaving her with Dean so that we can see this.
Do you think that he is going to remember that?
No.
Oh.
Okay, I take that back actually. I think he's going to remember a certain part and be like, it's going to come up later on and he's going to know something. She's going to say something and it's going to trigger a moment where he's going to go, yeah. Why does this sound familiar? And
it's going to come back as if, you know, you had a little bit too much to drink the night before. You remember bits and pieces.
Yep, absolutely. So
I hope he remembers because I love seeing that little vulnerable side of her.
Of course. And plus, this makes another reason why the British men of letters are the bad guys. They ran her out of her homeland.
Which somebody early on, I forget who it was, I'm so sorry, it said that when we learn more about the British men of letters, I think more will come out about the coven. That's what they said in the chat. Thank you for that comment, whoever wrote that. So maybe we will get more on the coven when we learn more about the British men of letters.
Sure, when we come back to that. Dean is complimenting Rowena, and she says it's actually a gift to not remember the things that you've done, and Dean not knowing what he's done in the past for killing, you know. But then she brings up everything that has been done is for the greater good. And we all do our little silent, like, cheer because that's essentially the only way that they can kind of make sense of what they do. And I know there are fans out there that still think that this is senseless killing to kill people and to take innocent lives for the greater good. But you still have to come back to there's no life that's worth taking over somebody else's. But if you're saving 1,000 by killing 2, is that better? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a crapshoot. We get Sam at the house with the witches who knew that he would come. The witch, Katrina, starts doing a spell on Sam and he starts bleeding in his ears. And this is where we get Dean. He wakes up in baby and Rowena has left notes for him. Like as they did in the hotel room. Sam had left lamp because he said this is a light. What did he say? It was a light stick?
Yeah, he said it was a light stick, but it's a lamp.
It's a lamp.
I love how she was like, your stupid car. And he, at that point, was like, stupid car?
And then, stay. Of course, he doesn't listen. He gets out of the car.
And she knew he wouldn't listen, which was amazing.
So she's prepared him. No on the gun, but no on, like, the cannon. But yes on the gun, because witch-killing bullets. So she's pointed him in the right direction, which is why all this, him being alone with her was great because it set this up to come back and to save the day.
Thank goodness, because at the end of the day, at the end of every single episode, when we try to go off and do things on our own, we all need to work together as a team. Mm-hmm. When is everybody going to understand that? No matter what state of mind people are in, we need to make plans.
But this worked out even better because it just set it up so nicely and I thought it was a great little, like, loophole that they got kind of stuck but then fixed it,
right?
And especially with the way that Rowena was kind of able to tie everything in together, so we have Katrina and Boyd say that they can bring Gideon back by basically swapping souls with Sam. Rowena ends up being at the house And this is where Katrina and Rowena kind of have like a little
Katrina and Rowena
breakdown, like fight, like
Which
argument.
fight?
And which fight? Where she says she was a dirty little rag doll on her doorstep. So this is where I hope we do get to come back and find out what happened and why Rowena was pushed out of her own land by the British men of letters. What was the point? Was it because she was fleeing because they were killing all witches?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because
We gotta know more.
they kill any monster, and they're going to consider a witch a monster. So is that
Right.
why she left? We don't know this just yet. And so there's a little fight, and she eventually pins Rowena against the wall, and she's throwing glass. She's actually not very good at darts. And this is where Dean comes in, and Sam's up there. Or no, he shoots
Kills her.
Katrina, kills Katrina, knows that she's the bad one. But then Sam and Boyd walk out, and he looks and he doesn't know which to shoot. And immediately Sam says, "Brother."
I love that.
The trust.
Well, oh
The
yeah, I
trust
love the
between,
trust
like
too.
that without question, Dean just goes, "Oh, okay."
But I
Impulse.
thought that Boyd would be like, "No, I'm your brother."
I thought he would try that too, but I mean,
too quick, I guess.
It was so quick, and like we said, it was immediate that Dean just trusted instinct and went with it, and obviously did the right thing. Thank goodness. Kills her with the witch culling bullets, and ends up trusting Sam. So Rowena is able to cure Dean, and
then he comes down the stairs and says, "Who's this hippie?" That
Yeah.
was I laughed out loud so hard. That was hilarious.
I actually laughed out loud in this episode quite a few times. I don't know about you guys, but I thought it was a pretty.
It was fun.
We've only seen 3 times Pilot Hitler in this episode. It was a grenade launcher. Have they used that yet? The grenade launcher. Thank you. It wasn't a cannon. Cannon, please. What was I thinking? Yeah, the little trick, trying to trick Sam. And this is where we get our little montage with the broomstick cowboy of Dean riding Larry the Bull.
It was so happy.
He's so happy.
No worries. Things are
carefree.
great. Carefree. Then you got to grow up and be a man. That was like the last line that they used of the song.
Well, I like then that after that happens, after we see this little montage, Rowena gets in the cabin. She goes, "You can thank me." And Sam knows, "Give me the damn book."
I thought she was going to take the book. I thought they were going to let her.
I mean, we know that that's just leading to bad things, so I like that they called her on it. Sam has the book now. Doesn't mean that we're not going to come back to this book and that Rowena's going to use it, especially with the book of the... Does she still have the Book of the Damned?
I think so.
Do they still have it? It's I think they do.
What do you think she's going to ask for? She's, they owe her a small favor now that she helped. What do you think she's going to ask for?
They wouldn't help her kill Crowley.
I don't think she will at this point either.
I think she's becoming connected to little Fergus.
She's connected to everyone a little
Fergus.
bit. She's got a little soft spot for
She
everyone.
wanted to help. She didn't need to come and help them, as Sam said. She could have just given them the details over the phone, but she shows up.
Although she liked Dean like this too. He was so complimentary
Yeah.
of her.
But that's who she is as a person. Like, that's who
Right.
she is as her character. She basks in the compliment train and being taken care of by, a rich man who, is all the things. And Sam was a little bit jealous that Dean could forget the weight of things that were done. And Dean says that everything was lost.
Everything. Like, not just all the bad and all the crap that they've been through. Everything was lost. Who they were and who the brothers, are and their family legacy and all the good that they've done, essentially. And he'd rather pass on that than be happy. And I just loved this conversation so much because at the end of the day, they love each other so much. And it's like the brothers against the world. The brothers forever united. I love it so much.
This is what it always comes down to. Whether they're fighting one, they still stand together. They're stronger together. Somebody said they should have kept the bunny and given it to Cass because he wants a pet. Oh my God. That's like the cutest idea ever.
Yeah, that bunny was cute.
I felt like the montage kind of made me think of Clueless, because
Really?
he's just so
Clueless.
Clueless. It
You
was
know.
just like adorable. He just
Yeah.
doesn't. He's not all there. I love it. Kill off Rowena, Ivan. You take that back right now. Once again, no preview for next week. I'm sure we could
Yeah,
find it.
I
I'm
don't
sure
know
it's
why-
probably somewhere, but I didn't get to see it.
I didn't either. I'm so bummed about that. They keep doing
don't
that.
like
they
that they
keep
keep
not
doing that to
showing
us.
us the previews,
Go
and then I
straight
can't find
into
it.
that darn Riverdale, and I don't get to see any preview.
Yeah, and then I can't find it on CW. They tell us to go there for more, but it's not there
it's
yet.
not there. So if you guys have seen it,
Yeah, tweet it to us. We'd
Tweet
love
it to us.
See it and talk about it.
let's get into some predictions for next week's episode. I'm thinking since we've I'm thinking since we walked away from Kelly for a few episodes now,
We'll get some more.
I'm hoping we get something from her, just because that happened before the break. So that happened in December. I want to find out what's going on. It's been 2 months. I need a snippet. Give me something to hang on to.
I think they will. I mean, we've got Cass, right? He's looking for her. He's still doing the little hunting on that, and then Mary's off hunting.
Or do you think we're going to get an episode where we go find out what Mary's doing, and all three of them working together, and Cass coming together to work with them?
I think Mary might be off on her own for a little bit. Oh, we see Cass is in trouble. Cass gets hurt.
Cass
He's in
in
danger.
stupid Riverdale, Cancer Riverdale.
Grave danger. Okay,
Next
so
week, British men of letters betray them. Okay, Cass is in trouble. Cass
Ooh,
gets hurt.
Yes, we're gonna see them betray them. We know there's something bad going on
You
there.
guys, first off, where are you guys seeing this? Is it on the website? Is that coming?
It says it's up now, but it's not whenever.
It's not whenever we get done with the show. It must come up like an hour or so after, and we just don't get it. Thank you for letting us know, though.
So Cass is in trouble. British men of letters. I think Cass is still looking for Kelly, though. I think we'll get more on Kelly before we see more of Mary.
12/14 is the episode with Kelly. Okay, so we have to wait 3 weeks till we get Kelly. That's a
Wow.
long time. We're talking 2/3 of the way almost through a season at that point.
Mary
Almost
is next
2/3.
week. I was wrong. Okay, so Mary is next week.
Okay, so we get Mary next week. We have Cass in trouble.
Well, I guess that makes sense though, because last time we saw Mary, she was talking to what's his name from British Men of Letters, and she was ready to listen to him. So maybe she gives too much information, and the British Men of Letters betray.
Maybe we thought that she was off working on a case when in fact she's been training with the Men of Letters.
Do you think the British Men of Letters could be potentially mad or essentially mad that Cass is an angel and he's allied with the brothers?
Absolutely.
So is this why he's going to be in grave danger?
Anybody that works with the brothers, it's like the girl that they killed, that young girl. She did not need to die, and they killed her. There's no repercussion. They don't give anybody a second chance. They don't believe somebody deserves to live. They just kill automatically, no questions asked.
I'm excited to see how they betray them, because we've been seeing them just be their friends for episode after episode, and I just want to finally see them be the bad guys that they are.
Absolutely. Let's find out here.
We're going to take them down.
We're taking them all down. All right, you guys, that has been another fantastic supernatural episode. Not a monster of the week. A little backstory, a little flashback, moving forward, finding out what's going on. Next week, we got more excitement coming to you. Katie, where can everyone find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at Katie Campbell. That's Katie with 3 E's Campbell. Instagram at KatieCampbell13 and YouTube.com/Katie Campbell Online. And Sunday, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the Vampire Diaries After Show.
Ooh, check out the Vampire Diaries After Show. This is Lyndsey here. You guys can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Lyndsey Wegner. That's LYNDSEYWEGNER, or my blog, lyndseyWegner.blogspot.com. Make sure to check out all of our other AfterBuzz shows, and we'll see you guys next week to talk more about Supernatural. Thanks for joining us.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.